So after learning about the fate of his mother by the hands of the same people that he was working for, Granolah now has to make the ultimate decision following the events of Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 77 going into Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 78, which to now we know that the Heeter clan are now looking to make their move in retrieving and gaining the last Cerealian Dragon Ball and summoning Tarambo to make their wish. But the million-dollar question going forward is, what exactly will Granolah's decision be in either having to spare the Saiyans and going after the Heeters, or will Granolah somehow want to still seek out vengeance in finishing off Goku and Vegeta by the proxy of what their people had done to the Cerealians before going out to pursue and find the Heeter clan? As we do understand that in this upcoming manga chapter, we are bound to see the events unfold surrounding both Gas and Bardock, and specifically what went down involving those two 40 years ago. As on today's video, we are going to be taking a look at what the community had to say in regards to Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 78, which is scheduled to be released in English between November 19th and November 20th. So with that being said, I hope you guys sit back and enjoy. If of course you guys are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button and more importantly click the bell icon to always be notified as to whenever a brand new video is posted onto this channel, as well as giving this video a big fat thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you're simply hyped and excited to see what chapter 78 is going to bring, which is ultimately going to introduce us to next month's Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 79. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look now to see what you guys had to say in regards to the upcoming manga chapter. And here we go. So on my community tab, I went on to post a community poll in which 17,000 of you guys had voted, to which I went on to ask, with Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 78 setting the stage for Granolah to make a choice in regards to what he wants to do next, now that he knows about the history of what truly happened on planet Sorel 40 years ago, what do you think is bound to happen in the upcoming Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter? Are we in for a bloodbath of a battle involving the Heeters and Granolah along with possibly Goku and Vegeta? Let the world know what you think in the comments, and the choices were: option number 1, Granolah will conclude his fight with the Saiyans first; option number 2, Granolah will leave to find and fight the Heeters first; option number 3, nobody will fight yet but the Heeters will make their wish first; and lastly, option number 4, Granolah and the Saiyans will agree to go and find the Heeters together. Now let's go ahead and take a look to see what you guys had to say in regards to the upcoming manga chapter. Now, Granolah wouldn't be ready to join the Saiyans immediately. He would probably go off to search for the Heeters alone and then join them sometime after. See, I agree with this only because I don't see Granolah still siding with Goku and Vegeta, because despite one person having to save Granolah, i.e. Bardock, it still doesn't erase the fact that the other Saiyans still committed genocide, whether under the orders of Frieza, whether under the orders of the Heeters having to be providing aid via money. It doesn't really matter, because the Saiyans still did what Granolah had been haunted by for nearly 40 years, and that's exterminate his entire race and nearly killing him off if it were not for Bardock. So to some kind of an extent, it really doesn't change the course of history, because even though you had one person save him, you still had dozens of others slaughter his people. So between the two, Goku and Vegeta, I could see Goku trying to talk to Granolah and telling him, hey, we should work together, but I think that it's going to be Granolah in declining Goku's offer in trying to find the Heeters by himself, until of course he stumbles across the Heeters either making their wish or by then had already made their wish, and thus having to battle them until Goku and Vegeta get dragged along into that fight. So make no mistake about it, I can definitely see a bloodbath between said parties coming, but I think it's a matter of how they get together that is going to establish the narrative going forward. I think the Heeters will make their first move on Goku and friends with new and improved Gas, and will take all three to defeat him, but they won't necessarily be teaming up, more or less 1v1s with Granolah fighting first, but then getting absolutely trashed. So I agree with this because it's kind of already established that Gas is going to be the one on the Heeter squad that's going to be doing the fighting, so I really don't have an issue with that, but it really becomes a problem and an issue when trying to establish how Gas gets there, you know what I mean? Does he end up becoming stronger than Ultra Instinct Goku, Ultra Ego Vegeta, and full-powered Granolah if the wish is to somehow make Gas even stronger than the strongest? So I can see Gas kind of going after Goku first because of what happened with Bardock and Granolah, because I can only assume that Bardock had beaten down Gas so bad that he was left embarrassed. He volunteered to go after him only to come back with an L. I don't see Gas being too happy to see Goku if they have somewhat of an interaction, but I can see Granolah being the first person to get in the mix, to whereas Vegeta and Goku step in after, and save Granolah from said events, you know what I mean? Knowing how hot-headed and irrationally Granolah has been proven to be when he's mad, learning he's been working for and lied to by the people who's killed his mother is going to cause him to act without thinking. I agree. He's probably going to end up going alone in a fit of vengeance. I mean, do you really blame him? You know what I mean? Knowing the fact that you've been working for and lied to by the same people that murdered your mother and essentially wanted to kill you as well, I don't think anybody reading or watching this would be happy, you know what I mean? Imagine finding out that your mom or that your dad was killed in the process of you being a kid, not knowing what the heck is going on, only for said group to take you in after and lie to you this entire time. So I can see a lot of trash talk go down between Alec and Granolah, and like you pointed out, he is really hot-headed and he's really irrational when he's like really angry and whatnot, so I can see Granolah acting out of vengeance and acting out of wanting blood, but this may cost him, and I think that this really boils down to the wish that Alec wants to make, because Alec doesn't come off as the kind of person that wants to wish for immortality. He doesn't come off the type of person that wants to swap bodies like Zamasu did. He comes off like the type of individual that would want to wish for an army, or perhaps maybe wish for infinite wealth, because his means of taking over Frieza's army and the galaxy/universe is through influence, intelligence, and money. So it really all depends, because unless the first wish is to make Gas the strongest and then they somehow gather the Cerulean Dragon Balls again and then use another wish, who knows? But I think as of right now, the way this is going to go is, like you said, I think Granolah is going to step in first, and he's really going to get destroyed depending on how powerful Gas becomes if he doesn't fight Goku first. Man, I love this arc so far. I mean, listen, this arc is really rocky because it has its high points and it has its low points. For me, believe it or not, I still prefer elements of the Moro arc a little more than this, but I'm waiting to see how this all unfolds, especially with the wish, because if it ends up proving that there's going to be an all-out battle coming up ahead, then surely enough, I think this is going to definitely be better than the Moro arc for me, but it really depends on the execution, you know what I mean? The Heeters will make a wish to fuse OG-73, I'm calling it now. See, who are they going to fuse OG-73 with, right? I can only see that being the case with Gas. I don't see Alec wishing to either fuse himself with OG-73, perhaps maybe he's going to wish for all of them to fuse into one body, or maybe he's going to wish for just something just absurd. But I definitely think that unless they forgot, OG-73 is going to play a big role in this and either being used as a plot device, just like with Moro, or they have completely forgot about him and they threw him to the wayside. Because remember, the only reason why Alec wanted him was because he contained information and knowledge about Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, Moro, so that data had been proven to be useful, but what happened after? Did they keep him around? Are they going to wish for him to arrive on the battlefield? Who knows? But I think that unless they forgot about him, he's going to be a big role, a big heavy hitter in this. But if they forgot about him and they make another generic wish, then to me, they just ruined the entirety of what this entire arc was built off of from the beginning, which was just kind of going back and grabbing OG-73. But even then, if you're telling us that it was only for intel, then I don't know if that sits well with me, but that's just me. I'm kind of seeing Granolah and the Saiyans teaming up, but not in the next chapter. Granolah might be so angry that the Heeters were the ones setting all of this up and killed his mom, so he might, in frustration, just go after them without a second thought. I agree. Doesn't care if he was extremely exhausted. I can see that, because the rage that he is about to get is huge, and he will probably lose, and that's where Goku and Vegeta might step in, and we might see somewhat of an awesome fight. This is what well, the thing is though, I can see Goku kind of persuading Vegeta to be like, hey, we need to help this kid out, and I don't see Vegeta being nice about this to say, you know what, why? Like, this guy was gonna kill us. Like, he didn't listen to us before, so what makes you think that once this is all done, he's not gonna try to kill us again, you know what I mean? So Vegeta comes off like that kind of individual, which you can't really blame him for, but like you said, I don't see them teaming up at first. As a matter of fact, I don't see Granolah asking them for their assistance, nor do I think they are gonna ask Granolah for his. As a matter of fact, I think that they're gonna come together without even saying anything. And Granolah's gonna then realize, oh crap, I'm fighting alongside the same individuals that I was just trying to kill not long ago, right? So I think that this will be a big revelation for him in the fact that he was trying to not long ago kill them, and now for one of them or both of them to save Granolah from said events from the Heeters, I think is going to say a lot, because you can kind of see the misdirection of, you know, his morality, of what he believes, and his perception of things to be flawed, that by the end of this, I think that he will forgive them and kind of call it a truce to say, you know what, we did what we did, we're not gonna talk about it, you go your way, and I'll go mine. But that really boils down to whether or not Granolah lives or dies, because remember, he does have a shortened lifespan now, so who's to really say, you know what I mean? I believe we will find out more about the Heeters and Bardock's departure. I agree. I think that the early portions of the next chapter will include the fight with Gas, because if Gas lost, because that's what they're kind of hinting on, if Gas lost, then what really happened? Do the Heeters inform Frieza that there's a rogue Saiyan that was helping the Cerealians, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting to see how that went down, but not if they cover the entire chapter solely focusing on just Bardock and Gas. I would like it to where it's kind of half and half versus what we got in the last chapter, which was just an entire flashback altogether, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that Alec wants to be the strongest, I agree. I think that he wants to rule the universe with Gas, Maki, and Oil as his muscle. I don't see Maki and Oil being muscle use per se. I can see them being support or aid. Maybe Oil might be the muscle, but Gas, he's the real muscle. But even then, he doesn't want to be the so-called strongest, he just wants to be the most influential, you know what I mean? I think Granolah will temporarily truce with the Saiyans and agree to go see for himself and the Saiyans for proof, like confronting the Heeters, or finding Frieza. Maybe Beerus might be stepping in. Beerus is not going to step in, and I'm firmly convinced that Frieza isn't going to be in this arc. They've mentioned him 1,000 times, but by now, we're already towards the end of the year, and he hasn't even been shown for one panel, let alone one page, let alone for one chapter. So I don't see Frieza in this. As for Goku and Gas, I think that Gas has something up his sleeve that could be dangerous for everybody, so Goku and Vegeta might fuse against him. I disagree, because if you're telling me that right now, without them making that wish, that Gas is stronger than Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct, I don't see that being the case, because it wasn't too long ago where they kind of confirmed that Frieza at the beginning of this arc was stronger than them. So did Gas get stronger off panel, off camera? You know what I mean? It would be really redundant, because my thing is either do something with OG-73, do something with the Cerealian Dragon Balls, or just don't do anything at all, because if he just so happens to show up and he becomes even stronger than all three of them with no explanation, that would be complete dog water, and I think you guys know it too, you know what I mean? But I guess to that, we'll see. Honestly, I want to say that Granolah, Goku, and Vegeta will all fight against the Heeters, but I'm not entirely sure what will happen, so hopefully the result is as expected. Well, honestly, for me, I'm hoping for something unexpected, because I think that when things become a little too predictable, they're not as exciting, you know what I mean? But who knows? We could be getting a really solid battle coming up next, or it just could be a gigantic lackluster of a fight and it results in no payoff, you know what I mean? Now Granolah just gonna kill everybody, starting with the Namek who lied to him. See, I've been saying this since day one. Why did Monaito keep this from him for 40 years? Why couldn't he tell Granolah a long time ago, because he had 40 years to do so, that hey, the guys that you're probably running with are the same people that murked your mother, you know what I mean? Like, they murdered your mom. So I think that would have changed the tone drastically. So I definitely think that Granolah ought to just express anger and frustrations towards Monaito to ask, why didn't you just tell me this before? Because I would love to see a good explanation from Monaito to say, hey, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to get caught up and blah, blah, blah. So I think it makes sense if that were to happen, but if Granolah just takes off and he doesn't say a thing, that's gonna be poor, I think, because something needs to be said to him to ask why, you know what I mean? But like I said before, I guess we'll have to wait and see. So I feel like there will be a surprising or kind of surprising wish that the Heeters will make. I mean, it really all depends, man. Like, maybe they will wish for immortality. Nope, I don't think so. But maybe they'll wish for the Saiyans to come back, and oh, that would be interesting, so that they can get powered up by Goku and Vegeta to go up against Frieza. I don't see that being the case, because once again, the whole Frieza concept I don't see being adapted in this arc yet, because unless they want to expand this arc another year or another 2 years, then yeah, you could do something with Frieza, but it would be interesting if Alec were to kind of wish for the, destroyed Saiyans to come back, for all of the Saiyans of Planet Vegeta to come back, just so that they can serve under the Heeters, you know what I mean? Because Alec always bragged and talked about the Frieza army, he wanted to control an army. Can you imagine how insane it would be for the Heeters to have their own army be that of the extinct Saiyans, for him to kind of bring them back and say, you know what, under my rulership, under my leadership, we're gonna take over. And to do that, I think we need to start by exterminating those three over there, which points out to Goku, Vegeta, and Granolah, you know what I mean? But even then, there's a lot hinting here that there's going to be some type of a war. I don't see that being the case, because even if the Saiyans came back, they would be drastically weaker than everybody unless they all turn into great apes. But even then, it would be crazy to see even Bardock come back in that, right? And then we see some sort of a team up involving the Heeters and the exterminated Saiyans to fight against Goku, Vegeta, Granolah, and Bardock, you know what I mean? Like, but that's just like a wet dream I guess people have. But I think a lot of this does boil down on what the wish is going to be. Like I said, I don't see it being immortality. I can see them doing something with the Saiyans coming back if they want to, somehow amp them and have them come back to just create this giant army, but it really all depends, in my opinion, of course. So, since there's apparently no time limit on how long you have to wait to use the Dragon Balls in this arc, and likely a much stronger dragon, I bet the Saiyans will be revived. Oh wow, after this released Bardock. See, but why would Alec want to wish for Bardock to come back, you know what I mean? Unless he wants to take control of him, which I don't think makes any sense. Bringing back the Saiyans would be great, because, in a way, because you can have the current Saiyans, Goku and Vegeta, wage war against them, even though they would annihilate them, unless there's a twist to the wish. Let's say, for example, if Alec wishes for all the Saiyans to come back to be just as strong as Goku and Vegeta, then that would be so busted, because we would have multiple, dozens, hundreds, probably thousands of Saiyans that are on the tier of MUI, on the tier of Ultra Ego, but I don't see it being that complicated, so I think the wish might be totally different, and totally, I think, abrupt, because, like you said, like many people have pointed out, if they're able to continuously use the Cerulean Dragon Balls and make wish after wish after wish, then you can just ultimately spam that and see what happens, but it really all depends, I would say. Both Monaito and the Heeters are slow, but I feel like there will be a flashback of seeing the fight between Gas and Bardock, so that would delay. That would be a delay, and the Heeters would summon the dragon just when the story is over and everyone is reacting to the climax. See, I see that being the case, but I wouldn't want the chapter just to solely end with the dragon just popping up and for everyone to be like, Bakara, like what the hell's going on, you know what I mean? I think it would be much more exciting to see Granolah, or maybe Granolah, Goku, and Vegeta arrive after seeing the dragon, only for Alec to kind of turn around and tell them, hey, you're too late. And then that leaves us off with the cliffhanger, because it suggests, okay, well, what does he mean? Like, what does he mean by you're too late, you know what I mean? So I think that'd be pretty cool, but to see them kind of end it off with the dragon, and for the Heeters just about to make their wish, I can see that being the case, but I think whatever happens, this upcoming chapter that's going to be dropping on the 19/20th is going to be a prelude. It's going to be a gateway to what's really going to happen come December 20th once Manga Chapter 79 is introduced, because only then do I believe is when things are really going to amplify, you know what I mean? So hopefully they don't end up dropping the ball with the conclusion of this arc if we are nearing the conclusion, because if we are, then I hope they give us kind of like a decent and really good ending to this entire thing. But if we're not near the end, then from what I'm really hoping for is a really good battle involving said parties coming up next. As much as we all love the Saiyans, recently androids have been getting praise too. Agreed. Android 17 won the Tournament of Power. Now the new alien android OG-73 from the Moro saga is being repaired in the Heeter saga thanks to the upcoming Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. Okay, so yeah, we know about the Red Ribbon Army coming back. We know about how there are potential androids in that film, so I can see your point. Androids will play a big role once again. So what you're suggesting is OG-73. Here's the thing. I think that, and this is one of my biggest fears, I really hope that they didn't forget about OG-73. If they forgot about him and all he was really used was for intel and they threw him away, that's bad. You could still kind of use him if he fully is, reformed and regenerates his body. He could still be made as a heavy hitter for the team if he's given the chance to do so, but if they just throw him away and they say, you know what, he was just there for intel, it'll be bad. So I kind of agree with you if there was more emphasis on what's been going on with him, because they could either do a few things with OG-73. Number one, they could ultimately offer him as a sacrifice to the dragon, to Tarambo, if Tarambo says, hey, I could make one of your guys the strongest, but I'm gonna have to shorten their lifespan. I could see Elect just coming in and being like, hey, instead of shortening Gas's lifespan, why don't you shorten, OG-73's? I could see that being the case. That's smart. So you can ultimately just off OG-73, but still be used as a plot device for Gas to get stronger without having to sacrifice his lifespan, you know what I mean? But it really all depends on how they go about this, because I don't see the Heeters standing a chance at all unless they make some grandiose wish to have several other wishes to keep hacking and, making demands for them to get ahead, Just imagine how awesome it would be to see Goku, Vegeta, and Granolah, and Frieza, and Broly all team up against the Heeters. No, and no, right? We got Broly for the upcoming movie. That's cool. Frieza, I don't understand the fascination behind that. I would love to see him too. Particularly, I would love to see Golden Frieza versus Ultra Ego Vegeta, only for Vegeta to finally Hakai Frieza to death. I think that would be the best possible thing you could do with Vegeta's character, because Trunks killed, Frieza before, Goku killed him in ROF, why not give Vegeta the shine? And if they're not gonna do it here, then whenever Frieza's story is over, have Vegeta be the one to just obliterate him, Hakai him from the face of existence, and that's it, you know what I mean? I think we will get a flashback of Bardock versus the Heeters, and then in Chapter 79, Granolah and the Saiyans will look to find the Heeters. However, the Heeters will make a wish that complicates things. But the question is, what could the wish possibly be that complicates things? You know what I mean? So I agree. Parts of it will be flashbacks. From what I understand, it's only going to be the early half of the chapter that's going to be kind of dwelling on flashbacks. It's not going to be the entire chapter. So I definitely think that, yeah, the chapter coming out in December is going to be a big one, because then we're going to find out, hopefully, what the wish is. Then we're going to find out, hopefully, what happened to OG-73. Then we're going to find out, hopefully, what happens with Granolah and Goku and Vegeta and said party, because we need answers, and we need answers quick. So, are we forgetting about OG-73? Listen, it's not we. It's Toriyama and Toyotaro. That's, I think, the people that you're trying to ask is, what about OG-73, Mr. Toyo and Toriyama? You know what I mean? But I think that by the end of this, a lot of you guys seem to agree that we are going to see some stuff involving Gas and Bardock, and we're more than likely going to see somewhat of a team up towards the end of the chapter. So down in the comment section below, what I want to know from you guys is, what do you guys think is going to happen in this chapter? But more specifically, what do you think is going to happen in Chapter 79? Because if we are going to see the Heeters try to make their wish, and it either backfires on them or they end up making it, then I think all of the fighting stuff is going to happen in the next chapter. But for this one, we're bound to see Bardock versus Gas, just to kind of dive in to see how Gas was humiliated. But to that, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens on the 20th. So again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your time. Hopefully, this chapter ends up being good, because if not, that's going to be a huge disappointment. So again, I appreciate your time. If you guys are new, hit that subscribe button, give this video a big fat thumbs up if you guys are excited for the upcoming manga chapter. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, guys, and have a great day. Peace!
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
Also follow UnrealEntGaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead! Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck's up, on? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Frieza.
Uh-oh.
Prepare to die!
But once you get video, lots of likes, or Bill will turn you into chocolate! Vados, get over here! Tell these mortals that I'm the biggest UnrealEntGaming fan. This is my moment. I'm a part of his notification squad. Universe 7 can have all the fun. I just want the food.
And don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Show some love for the best community on YouTube.
Kakarot!